All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Part 2 of Welding Educators Unite. I apologize, this wasn't all in one episode, but I had some issues trying to upload it because it was such a large file, because we just got to bumping our gums and lost track of time and hit way over 3 hours. So here it is, part 2. No ads, no stories, no bullshit. Here we go.
You're listening to the Junkies Podcast. Helping you make every weld better than your last with each episode. And now your host, Jason Becker.
But I think one thing that both you, Kyle, and Ryan brought up is having an administration that supports you. So I think, kind of like in your and I's case, if we can get into that administrative role, we can ensure that continues to take place. Because I know so many different welding programs that would probably be freaking stellar performers, but they can't because they're buried in, we got to do student evaluations, we got to do this paperwork, we got to turn grading in, we got to do everything but get in the shop and weld with these kids, or get in the classroom and educate them. We got to do all this other BS that like you said, it cuffs them, it ties them down, and they can't move. They can't be an effective educator because they're not given the liberty to be an effective educator. They have to do it. This is the curriculum you're going to teach. These are the standards you have to meet. These are the boxes you have to check so we look good in front of the state so we can continue to get our money. Screw that. Let the instructor teach the class. Let them get out there, let them be in there, take all the office BS and all the other paperwork and stuff. Hire an admin assistant to go through and do all that stuff. Let the instructors teach. And I think that's the one thing that, aside from going up and getting my batteries charged, hanging out with Ryan once a year, I think that's one of the things that allowed me to become a more effective educator and a better educator, is because I had the support of my administration. They're like, hey, what do you need, to make this the best welding program? Okay, I need this, that, and the other. Boom, done. Okay, what else do you need? Well, shit, that was easy. Okay, well, how about this, that, and this thing? Oh, done. Okay, what else do you need? Having that support system and having an administrative, a group of people that will back you and rely on you as the subject matter expert, which is what they hired you for, them having the faith and confidence in you to do your job and do it well, and then, your efforts, they bear fruit at the end. Your students are getting placed, they're earning a high wage, they're completing the program, you're being effective at that point. But when you take away all the tools for the instructor to do their job, I think, you're handicapping your own program. Right. And if you're doing it with welding, you're doing it with other programs.
And you're so right. And that's the thing is, so we have state assessments here. We have the NOCTI. My students do very, very well on it. We're, since I've taken over, we've been advanced every year I've been here. We take a written and a practical test. I have to do all my curriculum in that. But here's the thing. We have a task list. PD gives us a task list of all the things we got to complete. So I have 3 years to complete it. There's a few hundred tasks on there. How I do it, what order I do it, my administration says they don't care. Just get it done. Just do what you want to do. And so for me to do all that, and it comes back to, how do you do that faster? Well, that's what we're going to show you, how to do it faster. If you teach them the 30 highlighted sentences in the book, here it is. So I hate reading. I really do. If you ask anybody,
High five.
And here's the thing is, I hate reading, but when I was going through my master's program, I use Grammarly.com, right? So I'm not a good writer. So I had over 2 million words written in a year and a half. That's how many papers I had to write. My last paper was 70 pages. And I was like, holy crap. And I had to read all this stuff. But I learned how to read fast, but I had to learn how to read the important stuff. Here's the highlighted stuff. Here's this, here's that. How Ryan said before is. And it's the same thing with these welding books. I got welding books this thick, but there's only this much of knowledge that we need to know. So that's what it's about. And I give that to the kids. I'm not going to give them a whole 500-page textbook and say, all right, here we go. We're going to read page 1 and get through all this. And this is what you need to know what this did. No, this is the stuff you need to know. Let's break it down. Let's give you the Cliff Notes version of it. I remember Cliff Notes, right? The books in that. You don't want to read your own Romeo and Juliet. Hey, that was a big thing about that. Give me the Cliff Notes. That's what we do. That's what we're going to show you. But you're right. My administration is very, very supportive. And that's what keeps me saying, you know what? I want to do it how they did it. You know, they pushed me because they saw something in me. And how Ryan said before is, you know, we don't see ourselves in the same, we don't look at a mirror and see ourselves the same way as somebody else does. I never thought I would see myself as an educator, an educational leader, but many in my school do, especially my supervisors. And, you know, as I said, they pushed me. So I would do the same thing with if I was running a school, you know, give them the laxness, or let them be them. And that's what happens here at our school is we're allowed to be us. We're not handcuffed. We're not, you know, chained to a desk or anything like that. You know, be you, do what you want. All they ask is, when I ask for something is, you know, what's in it for the stakeholders? First the students, the school, and then the community. Well, obviously, if the students are getting something, the school and the community is getting something as well. And that's it. And they just want to know that, you know, when I went out and bought the robot in the sub-arc, if I'm going out and spending $200,000 on a piece of equipment, what are they going to learn from it? Where can they go? What can they do with it? All right. And here it is. And my craft advisory says they need to learn this, this, and this. Boom. I got 7 diesel welders on the side of my school. They're building me a garage to house them. And, you know, where my outside is going to be my playground. So we're doing a lot of crazy things here, and they're supportive of it. 2 years ago, I wanted them to dig me a trench to build a real life pipeline here. And they were going to do it. And then I said, you know what? I'm changing my mind because I have another vision of what I want to do. All right. You know, and what I tell my kids is, and this is something that I learned, is just ask. And if they tell you no, ask again. And if they tell me no again, you know what I do? I have the students ask. You know how hard it is to tell no to a student? Even if we want something. So we do something here. It didn't happen this year, but we do a cardboard sled race up at our local mountain. We're the only high school that does it. So our first year we did it, we had 20 people in our sled. The second year we had like 30. Last year I had my administration, I had my lab assistants, and we had 40 some people go down this sled that we built. It was called the Team Misfit Express. It was a train. Graphics designed our logos. They put it on our sled. It was phenomenal. And they're the things that we do. And it was on a Saturday. The first one was on a Sunday. Sunday morning, there we are at 7 o'clock up on top of the mountain, freezing our asses off, right? There's 30 of us there. That's the bond and the connection I saw when I went to the first educator workshop with Ryan and his students. That's what I wanted. I keep going back to that. I had that. They know that. I could tell my students right now to go dig me a ditch with a spork, and they'll do it. And you know what? They could tell me to go dig a ditch, and I'll be right there with them. Everything I ask my students to do, I've done, or I'll do it with them. And they know that. Mm-hmm. We'll never be outworked. Any of us here will never be outworked. I always say that. No one will outwork me, ever. And they'll not outwork my students, because that's what we put into it. Same thing with Ryan. They'll tell you that. When we're here till 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'm still on my school. I'm usually the last one to leave my school. I'm not the first one in, but I'm usually the last one to leave. You know, and everybody's like, oh, what are you still doing here? Well, I'm thinking about what we're going to do next. You know, what's the next thing? It gets back to the curriculum in that. You know, everybody has their curriculum laid out for the year. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you know what you're going to teach on Monday when you don't know what's going to happen over the weekend with these kids? I have an idea what I want to teach, but there was teachers here when I first started here. They were like, yeah, September 14th for the last 30 years, I taught this, this, and this. I go, every September 14th? Yeah. How the hell are you effective? How do you, not every group is the same. How do you teach the same thing every week? So this year, what I did was something different with the sophomores. I started with MIG and flux core. I'd never, ever done that before. I did stick. You know, I wanted to take a little less variables out of welding, and I wanted to get them welding faster. You know, I want them to see the arc. I'm only spending 6 hours a week with them. I want to get them to say, hey, you know what, this is what I want them to have a good weld quicker. Because for me, MIG and flux core is easy to learn. Stick, it takes a little bit. But stick, to me, is the foundation of welding. Because that's what I usually start with. And I'm sure a lot of people start with stick. You know, but I remember having a conversation with Ryan. Ryan's like, you know, he asked this question in one of his seminars. We all raised our hand, you know, and there was like, why don't you start with MIG, Ryan goes. And I'm like, man, I go, I don't know. Why don't we start with MIG? Because that's how I was taught. This is my father taught me this way. My grandfather taught me this way, you know. So this year I said, you know what? It's a messed up year as it is. Let me start with some MIG and flux core. and it worked out pretty good. And it's funny because my upper class students are like, yo, the morning class hasn't stick welded yet. No, we're still busting out MIG and flux core. We're working on some certs. And they're like, certs? Yeah, I go, that's what we're doing. We're getting them a little bit faster. And around my area, flux core is very big. We do some stick welding, but MIG and flux core is predominantly what they sell most of. Anyway, so why would I start with that? Get these kids some credentials, welding credentials, I call them. We get their OSHA 10s, their OSHA 30s, sophomore year right off the bat, try to get a welding qualification, and maybe they get a job over the summer. But that's the thing is, adaptability, being flexible, as Ryan alluded to before, is, that's a big thing with anybody, and especially, being in education. And I'm sure Jesse's going to see this, and he saw this, teaching, and that is, just being flexible with your kids. And that's the big thing.
You guys talk about administration. Guys, if I didn't have the administration I had in Willoughby, I wouldn't be here right now. But I had a lady, her name was Sue Rosium, and she believed in me so much that she let Ryan be Ryan. She was my wife. She didn't tell me no. She gave me everything I wanted, got me whatever I needed, and she understood me. And I'll be quite honest with you, I would never be in an educator workshop. I wouldn't be teaching at Lakeland Community College. I still wouldn't be teaching in high school. But all my students, the accolades that they've given me and the opportunities that they've presented to themselves and the families that they changed and the individuals that have come and flooded into these welding programs that I have, it all started around the greatest administration. Because most people in education looked at me as a dunce, looked at me as the wrongful doer, the guy that was doing everything wrong. Have people come in and say, well, what did you learn? What book did you learn that out of? I didn't learn it out of a book. How did you learn it? It's just the way I brought it up. This is how I know it. Well, you can't teach that. It's not in the book. My administration gave me all those opportunities. And once my students became successful, they could never take that away from me because my students spoke louder than words. And that's what it took for me to be able to get to do the things I'm doing. And you guys are all so right. Without the administration, you will flounder, you will be frustrated, you'll be unmotivated, and I will tell you, how you get your administration on your side is results. That's what these educator workshops will do, is teach you how to do it quicker, faster, better, more efficient, have a better product that you can plant your seed into your local communities and start bearing fruit right away. And I think that's the biggest thing, guys, is it's so amazing that you guys all have praised your educator, your administrators, because, guys, that's how I got to where I'm at. Because, Jess, looking back on it, they didn't like the results that we were getting, even though we had the best results in the entire school.
Nope.
But the reality of it is, Jess, that's what I did, was I was able to take my product and take it from one school to the next school and have the same product. And that's when my validation became, hey, if my administration would just get me and allow me to be me, everything else is going to be great. And that's
right. You're right. It is about administration. And I'm just going to share something real quick about administration as you go there. So every year I get poached from other schools to go teach. They want me to come there. So, and my administration knows that. And a school came up that, they wanted me to go be their educator. And what my administration said was that, they couldn't handle you. And I kind of took offense to that. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, they won't let you be you. And you're right, Ryan. It comes back to just being you. We got to be us. And that's the big, big thing, with education.
Absolutely. You guys, we're sitting here and we're talking. And I told you guys that the guy was writing a book about me.
Yeah.
He just texted me. He said, it's going to be epic. And I haven't got to talk to John in a couple days. And It's so unbelievable to see you guys, opening this up to me, to Kyle, to Jesse, and just to sit here and talk, guys. It's made me so much more happier. I'm so excited about this. Jason, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you having this platform and being able to put this out there for people.
Yeah.
Ryan, it's the least I could do, man. I mean, like, everything that you've taught me, like, you've made me the educator that I am, because I didn't know what an effective educator was. I've been to 3 different welding schools, and they were all ran the same way, and that's kind of how I was running mine. And then when I signed up for that first educator workshop, I went up there, and I got to chatting with you, and the passion that you have for not just welding, but for your students, for what you're doing. I realized, there's something more to this welding education thing than showing somebody how to strike an arc. And, just the amount of knowledge that I got out of those 3 or 4 trips that I took up there and get to hang out with you and learn from you and talk to other welding instructors. Having you on the podcast is the least I could do, because, like I said, you're the reason I am the educator that I am today, or why I feel the need to give back. And fortunately enough, I've been, handed over the opportunity to, have a platform to be able to do that, whether it's through YouTube videos or through the power of podcasting and stuff. Having that opportunity to give back to the welding community, something that we never had when we were growing up. If we wanted to learn welding, it was either in a book or you relied on what your instructor taught you. But now through social media and podcasting and YouTube and all these other avenues, and there's so many people out there that are just sharing this information and knowledge freely. Like, I'm sure you guys have all worked on job sites before, and you were like, nobody would show you anything because they were afraid that, okay, if I teach this guy something, and I've talked about this several times on the podcast, if I teach this young man, this young woman something, I could be out of a job by tomorrow. As soon as they catch on, they're making less than I am. They're going to get rid of me. And, I hated to see that, so as soon as I became a foreman when I was with the ironworkers, I mean, that's the first thing I did. Hey, you come here. I'm going to teach you how to read blueprints. Well, aren't you afraid that if I learn how to read blueprints, you're going to take my job?
Yeah,
Well, shit. Yeah. If that's the only thing between you and me, I'm in a lot of trouble. I got to do some soul searching. Maybe this ain't the gig for me. You got to make yourself valuable. So I feel that giving the information back to the community, especially now when the trades are hurting for people, and because the trades that we value so much, we're so passionate about, they've been looked down on for so freaking long. It's ridiculous. And now look at the trouble we're in. And Ryan, it's like you were saying, you got all these other countries that are training their people that are going to come over here. And if you guys think this is a joke, I mean, crack open the internet once in a while, because I heard Carl Peters talking about this in 2016, how just for Skills USA, the amount of money and effort and time that other countries put into training their welders, this goes up to a government level in China and Brazil, and we do jack shit here. Our government, I'm not a huge proponent of the government interfering with anything, but hell, you guys should be supporting something. So when it comes down to Skills USA, you've got people that volunteer from Lincoln Electric and Miller and all these other companies to train these people. There's no government support, that I know of. Our government isn't pushing trades as a viable option. They're pushing a degree. They've made videos at the White House about how, you don't, if you don't get a degree, you might end up as a painter. Well, shit, maybe I like to paint. Maybe I don't like accounting.
Absolutely.
Well, painters make good money
too. You got all these other countries that are pushing skilled trades, and when they win, when's the last time somebody from the United States of America placed in skills for international?
Jay, and that's the one thing I'm going to tell you. That's the negative Nelly for me for Skills USA, because I've been a part of it and a component for it for 16 years. And that's the one thing. It's a clique. And if you're not in that clique, that's what's so amazing about opportunities that we have right now. We've got to be able to be potpourri with all of our techniques and trades, but everybody's so afraid that you're going to win a medal instead of you're going to be able to change more lives. And the reality of it is that's what I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to win medals. I don't even want to compete anymore. I am so done with it because it is so just unfair. If you knew something that just happened to me recently, it would blow your mind. And I just don't want to ruin relationships with people. But I'm telling you, it is so unreal that I want to be open. I want to be able to tell people this is what I do and how I'm doing it. So you can go back and teach your 40, and you can go teach your 40, and you can go teach your 40. Now we have a whole line of good, unbelievable individuals going out and wanting to educate our country, because that's what we're not doing. Everything is so lopsided and one-sided. You're either not giving them any information, or you're giving them all the information, but you're not filtering out what is that information that they need to know. And that's the thing that I get. Everybody thinks I cheat. Everybody thinks this. Everybody thinks. And guys, I don't do any of that stuff. I'll give anybody whatever I got, because I want it to be more effective. One more united thing. We talk about family. That's what my weld shop is, family. If you come out, I want us all to be welding educator families. I want us to be a community. You know, I've got welding schools around here right now that, you know, I hate to say it, we're down to 12 students per class because COVID. We're going to be at 16 as soon as they lift it. It's going to be hard pressed to keep these other adult welding programs around here when we can have more 16 people, because right now we're completely filled. Every one of our classes are completely filled. But once we can start opening up to 16, we better hope that, you know, we're 40 people short because of we can only have 12 people in the class. And that's the big thing I want. I want everybody to just, here's how we do it. Here's what we do. And this is the opportunity that we have. You know, we can change things. That's the biggest key factor.
The word you said, Ryan, is opportunity. There's so much opportunity we have right now. And you kind of said the word cheat too. I think people don't understand, the gentlemen like we are here, there is no cheating. It's just hard work. It's the long hour days. It's the years we put together, you know, things like that. That's what it's truly about, you know?
Jesse, it was like that building that bike. We spent every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Between three of us, Jesse, his dad, and myself, we put in 627 hours in 9 days. And one emergency surgery in the hospital for my eye.
Was that, what would you get, hooked eating a donut?
I was going to say.
Those bear claws will get you, Ryan. You got to watch.
God. Yeah.
But no, Jesse's right. It's all about people want the result. They don't want to put in the work.
I've seen more people from my young age, when Ryan brought me on as a young instructor, just say, I want what you have. I'll get what you have. And I hate to be kind of arrogant about it, but it's something that I don't think you want to put the time in the same way as you are, Kyle, the same way you are, Jason. Guys, we've been on this podcast for almost 3 hours right now talking about what we love. We're soaking it in like I am. Nobody wants to do this kind of stuff. And I don't mean nobody. There's those people out there listening going, these guys got it. They're lunatics. This is what we want. They're hungry. And there's so many people who, they want what we have. They want the Arc Junkies podcast. They want the Eubank. They want the Kyle. They want me, the Raw Iron. But do you want to put the time in? So what I love what Jason does is Jason brings all these crazy people from the Nut House on his show too, where it's like, wow, you're kind of crazier than some of us are at times. And that's what's good, is it's joining this community to get together. What do you got there? I can't see that.
I'm trying to show, and I've showed this on the podcast before. That's the sign that hangs outside my door.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
The things that require zero talent. And I got that from Ryan Eubank.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly it. Yep.
So this is how you cheat. Okay, I'll go through the 10 lists, or the 10 things, you know, for the people that can't see it, you know, because this is an audio platform. This is how you cheat in life. This is how you cheat in welding. There's 10 things you can do. You be on time, work ethic, effort, body language, energy, attitude, passion, being motivated, doing extra, and being prepared. Those are the 10 things. That is how you cheat in life. That's how you cheat to get ahead. That's how you cheat in welding. If you can hit all those 10 things, you'll do just fine.
Absolutely. You know, Jesse said it the best. All my students come in and say, hey, I want to be like a Jesse Srpan. Hey, I want to be like a Connor Roberts. Hey, I want to be like a Kyle Lamone. Hey, I want to be like an Austin Eubank. Hey, I want to be like these guys. And I always say, if you want to be like them, all you got to do is just show up in the morning and stay late. That's all you got to do.
They don't want to do it.
If you don't want to do that, you're never going to be a Jesse, a Kyle. You're never going to be any of those guys. You don't understand what it took for that man to become that man. But it was nothing about just being a great welder. It was about life. It was about showing up, shutting up, and doing your damn job. Being there when everybody else wanted to go out and party and do something else. Being there where nobody else wanted to be, but you wanted to be there because it's going to give you a brighter future. And that is exactly it. The 10 things that require zero talent is how you cheat in life. Jason, I absolutely love that.
Right. It comes back to that Saturday when you were here, right? My father was here. What do we have, about 140 years of welding experience here? And only 9 or 10 kids got to experience that. They're the 10 kids we don't got to worry about. You don't got to worry about what they're going to do in life. They were there on a Saturday. His kids wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning to drive out to PA. Who wants to come to PA, right? Hit every pothole you can. But they're the kids that whatever they do, we don't have to worry about. They got it. They got those 10 things. You know, whether they picked it up the first year in our program, the second year, the third year, they've got it. And they're the things that we want to show those other welding instructors. That's what they need. As Jesse said, they want what we have, but they don't want to put the time or effort in. You know, you can lie to yourself so long, you know, and say, yeah, you know, they're cheating, they're doing this. And as I said, it comes back to hating. You know, let's not hate, let's replicate. If you want what we have or what we're going to show you to have, open mind and put the work in. It's not an 8 to 3 job. It's not even an 8 to 5 job. It's 24/7 if you want to be in education. It's like running a business. And if you don't view it that way, then I'm sorry. Then, you know, you're not going to probably get the connections that you're looking for, what we do have here with the 3U as well. You know, it's almost like we don't sleep, you know, and that's the way it is. You know, when I went out to see Ryan, I spent, you know, I think I got 4 hours of sleep the 3 days I was out there, or 2 days I was out there with him, you know, and that's what makes you better, you know. Some people are, oh, you know, you're crazy, you're doing that. Well, we are crazy. And that's the thing. The 3 of us here, the 4 of us here are crazy. As Jesse said, it's been 3 hours. You know, we had about a half an hour, you know, IT problems with Ryan while he was trying to earn his degree, putting Zoom on. But, hey, we got through it. But that's the thing. And, you know, and I was teasing Jason before this all started. I was like, Jason, I go, you know, Ryan likes to talk. So do I. I go, you better put about a 6-hour clip on here. Because and that's what it is, and nothing's forced, and it's all just a flow, and that's how these educator workshops are going to be. Is we're not pigeonholed to sell anything, you know. It's us. What you get is what you're going to get. You're going to get Ryan. You're going to get Jesse. You're going to get me. You're going to get Jason. This is who we are. This is what it is. And I told you when I was building that platform, this platform is going to be pretty big, and it's crazy. It's, you know. So I always tease, and people say, you know, like when my classroom and that, like. When I dismiss my kids from theory, I give myself about a minute or 2 before I walk out. Sometimes it's a little longer. I let them all get ready and that, the banging, the weld machines on and that. It's almost like I'm the rock star walking out to my stage. It's magical. Like hearing all that, you know, like hearing that music, hearing the radio on, the machines on and that. Like something just makes me tingle. And that's why I do it every day. And that's why, you know, we're here at all hours of the night. That's what we're doing it. That's why I spent 12 hours driving to Kentucky with my kids. We made memories. And Ryan alluded to it before. It wasn't about where we placed. Yeah, we want to place. I knew we were going to do well. But it was about making memories with those kids. We hit 5 states with those kids. I had a kid that never spent any time in a hotel. It was his first hotel. I had kids that, as I said, we never been to Maryland or West Virginia. We went through Ohio. You know, they're the things that we do. You know, I didn't get paid. I don't get paid for going on these trips. I left Friday. I didn't get home till Sunday at 7 o'clock at night. You know, and then on Monday morning, here I am. You know, I never asked to be reimbursed for none of that. You know, they're the things that a lot of welding instructors or educators, they'll balk at. They're like, really? You gave up your whole weekend? I can't even tell you how many weekends I gave up for my students. And I'll give up many, many more. If they want to be here, they'll be here. Yep. And you could all attest to that. And Ryan can attest to that. You know, and that's what makes us who we are.
That was the biggest lie that I was told when I got into education, because I got hired as a part-time adjunct. And they're like, it's only 28 hours a week. Okay, cool. So I walk in there, There's no curriculum put together. There's nothing set up. There's no lab activities. I mean, like, I had to, like, wire the machines up and get them plugged in and you know, show these kids how to put everything together. And then it's like, okay, so after safety on, you know, Monday through Thursday that week, I was like, shit, what am I going to teach them next week? There's nothing pre-planned. Nobody gave me anything other than here's some textbooks. So, like, I went home. I was like, okay, what do they need to learn next? Okay, so I start putting curriculum together. So that's what I would do Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, you know, for free. I was off the clock, so they couldn't pay me. Spring break came around. I was like, thank God I get a break from these students for a week. I can really put some curriculum and lab activities together now. You know, so I'm like on campus, putting things together, setting things up, getting material prepped, back at home, writing curriculum, building PowerPoints, quizzes, exams, all this other stuff, free of charge. And nobody asked me to, and I'm not looking for, like, accolades or anything, but, like, I signed on to do that job, and these kids are here to learn, and damn it, I'm going to teach them because that's what I signed on to do. I signed on for a 28-hour commitment, but it required more than that. So I put that additional effort in, and lo and behold, 7 years later, it's paid off, right? I mean, like, all the welding programs I have, all the students that have gotten out, they've gotten jobs, they've started up their own companies, they're out there pushing and running their own work. That's payment enough. You know, when I get the phone calls or the text messages, you know, hey, sorry to bother you. And I tell my students, shit, you're not bothering me. You know, if the phone rings, if I can answer it, I'll answer it. If not, I'll call you back. Same thing with the text message. If I can answer it now, I'll do it. If not, I'll get you a text. I'll text you back later. But, you know, they always stay in touch. Hey, you know, thanks for helping me out with this. Thanks for, you know, showing me how to do this. Hey, you were right about, you know, they're going to do things different out in the field, to kind of go back to what Ryan was saying. I show them the right way to do things, and I say, but once you get out there in the field, you're going to have to do some crazy shit. Like, you know, your rods most likely are not going to come out of a rod oven. You're going to have gaps bigger than you can actually fill, even with Texas TIG. You know, there's different things you're going to learn from these old timers. Pay attention. And, you know, when I get all that information back from the students, or they stop by, I had a student stop by last week, and, you know, he's waiting to hear back from a job because he wanted them to pay him what he was worth, and he wasn't going to settle for anything less. He walked in with his portfolio. Awesome, man. But it's those times when they come back. You know, they come back to the lab. You know, they reach out with a phone call or a text message or an email. That's payment enough for all that extra work that I put in to see somebody else do better with their life. Yep. And that's what makes you an effective educator, in my opinion. That's what makes you an effective educator.
Oh,
in a year of not, I'm sorry, Kyle. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jesse.
So, like, the biggest thing is I took a hiatus from teaching for the last year. And what you just said, you know, hearing when Ryan talks and Kyle, that's the biggest thing I miss. Is I'm like, man, maybe I should focus a little bit on me, you know, a little bit of my company and stuff. And I remember talking with Ryan, and I'm like, it's about that time. I miss that because it's an addictive thing, I think, for all of us. You guys haven't stopped, but I was like, maybe I'll go on and spread the company and expand it. My company has probably tripled and quadrupled in the last 14 months since lockdown. But I'm like, I miss sharing what I know. I miss sharing my enthusiasm. And yeah, cool. It's great having the money and there's more bikes and yada, yada, yada. But I want more people to have the opportunity that I almost didn't have because Ryan went to bat for me, and I want to be there too for that individuals in particular. And that's where, like, I miss that so bad. You know, that's where, like you said, the countless hours, what I would do at the school and what Ryan would do versus our companies is, you know, pennies to the $100 bills. But it's that pay it forward and get all that in return, that thank you. The end of the day, it's, yeah, sure. It's like I watched Ryan get that, Ryan, I need this, Ryan, I need this, I need this, I need this. They never say, Ryan, how you feeling? The craziest shit I ever did was call Ryan one day, and he was super flustered and tired. And I go, hey, stop what you're doing. Let's go to Moe's and have a burrito. And he's like, what do you want? I'm like, nothing. I just want to see how the hell you're doing. And I want to spend a lunch in the afternoon with you for a bit. And we talked and we cried, and that was where it was at, you know. And but then it still goes back to the core of it's the teaching. It's getting it back to the people, but honing in each other and taking care of each other where we're not stressed out, feeling like we're a used mule on a cart, essentially.
And you touched on something that we touched on when Ryan was here on Saturday with me, right? So it's about, you know, acknowledgement. So one of my students went off for lunch, and he came back. And I'm like, yo, where's my nuggets? And he's like, yo, Mr. Linko, you don't even eat lunch. I go, I know. But I go, that's not the point. And then Ryan chimes in. He's like, you know, just for once, he goes, all the stuff we do for you students, you think you would acknowledge us at least one acknowledge, right? As you said, Jesse, just calling them up and be like, hey, Ryan, what are you doing? How you feeling? Let's go for lunch. Us in education, we don't get that often from our students. That's why, like, when my students text me anymore or call me, the first thing they do is ask me how I'm doing. Because, that's a polite thing to do. And they have to be taught that, or when I reach out to them, it's like, hey, I'll be like, hey, good day. How you doing today? And then like, all right, blah, 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 blah. All right, I need something. Or, that's the thing to do. But us in education, we give. And God forbid, like, I'm just that off. So like not ripped into one of my kids, but we were practicing here on a Saturday. And I buy them lunches all the time. So they go out to Sheets and they come back with like a bag full of food and Gatorades in that. I'm like, where's my Gatorade? Oh, all you drink is water. I go, well, you know what? I go, did you ask me though? Well, you have all this water here. I go, it's not even about what I have. It's about just asking if I need something or want something. Well, you'll say no, right? And Ryan's like, yeah, we'll say no 1,000 times, but it's just at least the thought about it. So this was before this happened. They came in with a Gatorade. I was like, well, I didn't ask for one. They're like, no, but here, we thought about you. That's what it's about. Just think about us once in a while. We think about these kids all the time. All the time we do. And some will think about us, but it's those little things in life that add up to the big things. Yeah, I'll say no. Maybe one day I won't. Maybe I'm like, you know what? Yeah, give me an order of French fries, or give me this or give me that. But just ask people. Just don't leave us there. And that's what it is. And Jesse, you're so right. It's, hey, Ryan, let's go to Moe's and eat something, or like, so every time I see Ryan, my daughter works at one of these candy boutiques here in the city. And so she makes him a bag full of candy. So I remember the first time I gave it to him when I was out for Easter, he's like, yo, this is magical. I'm like, Ryan, I know I am. Well, how can I not be? He's like, no, this goddamn candy I'm eating. So I'm like, right. I go, you got to bring some home for the wife now. There's like 2 pounds of assorted chocolates. So my daughter always goes, yo, did Eddie make it home? I go, I'm not getting into that conversation. I'm not, If it did or didn't, I don't know. All I go is I made the attempt. I gave him the bag home. And then there it is, So, but it's the little things, that go a long way, especially in the teachers' lives. It's those thank yous. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week. So Tuesday was Teacher Appreciation Day. We get back to how good our administration is here. They bought everybody lunch. They let everybody go home when the last student left the building, or they brought the students up to the front. They're the things. It's some people are like, but there's schools that don't do that. There's people that don't do that. So even when I worked in the field, I remember the one company I worked with, they'd give hams out for Christmas, right? The one guy complained, why the hell are we getting a ham? Why can't we get this? I go, you're lucky you're getting something. Like, why does everybody got to, bicker and complain about that? Just be grateful they're thinking about you, And that's really what it's about. People just, I said, they go right for the negativity. They go right to, complaining or, saying this isn't good enough, or they don't have to do anything. They don't, But you're right. It's just the acknowledgement. We're really here for the acknowledgement and, passing on our passion of, education and just being a good citizen. Yes, Ryan, I'll bring you some candy next time I come back out again. Don't you worry.
I was going to say, if it's anything like crab legs, man, they're gone.
Oh, man. I love crab legs, too.
I like crab legs.
Yeah. The candy's legit. It's good. I would never feed him anything bad.
Man. Guys, this has been an absolutely amazing night. Thank you so much for your time. And being able to put this on a platform like this, Jason, is unbelievable.
Yeah, thank you, Jason.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get you a couple more followers. Hoping nobody unsubscribes after this nonsense of chaos, If so, we'll just blame Ryan for all that,
No, I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too.
We gotta so go ahead. Talk a little bit more about the Welding Educator Workshop as far as like, send out some details. So if anybody got inspired for this episode, if they want to learn more about it, where are these workshops taking place, what are the dates, how are we getting there? Let's go through some of the details.
It's going to be June 14th through the 18th up in Euclid, Ohio, right next to the Lincoln Electric Welding School. But it's not going to be at Lincoln. It's going to be at the Euclid High School. It's going to be we're going to try something new. We are in talks with a another organization out of Kansas City, and they're starting a program for welding competitions all over the country. They've hosted one in Texas, and they've hosted one in Kansas City. And what we would like to teach our educators, we're going to teach them a lot of theory, a lot of welding practice. We're going to open it up. There isn't going to be one specific welding process. We're going to teach theory and all the different processes, but when an instructor wants to come in and focus on one specific welding practice or one specific process, could be pipe welding, could be aluminum TIG welding, MIG welding, stick welding, flux core welding. Some of you guys might be all brand new, just new into the educating of students. We're going to give the opportunity for those educators to pair up with some of the educators that are more skilled and have been in this for a long time. It's going to be a lot of open discussion. But each day we're going to teach a theory process. So we're going to teach classroom theory on stick welding, one day on TIG welding, one day on MIG welding, one day on flux core welding. And when we go out into the shop, we're going to teach them about the fabrication and how these projects work for the competitive welding competitions that they're going to be starting to introduce throughout the entire nation. And what we're hopefully going to be able to do is get you inspired to start creating a team in your welding program that you're going to be able to start training. They're going to start to learn. They're going to start to be able to teach you as an educator different teaching practices for fabricating. And hopefully we can ultimately give you an opportunity to start a little welding competition in your local area with the other welding programs. So you guys will be kind of like the guinea pigs to get this introduced into different regions into your state, if not your whole state. And on Friday, we'd like to have a welding competition where we'll pair up some teachers together, and we will build one of these projects, and we'll, at the end of the competition, we'll pick a winner. And just trying to give them different flavors, give them a little bit of a different variety, teaching them all different processes. A lot of times teachers will come in and say, well, I didn't really want to focus too much on stick welding. I wanted more into the TIG welding. That's why we're going to limit it to 15 instructors. Each welding booth is going to be able to have their own welding process. They have brand new Lincoln Electric C300i welding processes. They can stick, TIG, MIG, and flux core weld. It can aluminum TIG weld. So we can also teach some pipe welding. We've got pipe beveling machines in there that we can teach out of different types of pipe welding, from API to ASME. So it's going to be your welding booth, whatever you want to focus on. We're going to teach theory, each process every day. But when you get out into the welding lab, if you want to stick to a routine and you want us to just teach about stick welding that day and you focus specifically on stick welding, you're more welcome to do that. So it's going to be a very potpourri classroom, but there's going to be a lot of open discussions. There's going to be a lot of you that have had issues in classes that we're not going to teach you and throw you curriculum down your throat. I will tell you, you will get some of my PowerPoints. You'll get all of my teaching stuff, all free of charge. I'll give you the PowerPoints and all that stuff that you guys can take back and you can utilize it. I'll teach you how to make your welding Bible. I'm going to teach you some chalk talk, how I teach welding. On stick welding, TIG welding, MIG welding, flux core welding, oxy-fuel cutting. So there's going to be a lot of that. If anybody wants to learn how to do some CNC plasma cutting and how to get that plasma cutting up running to get the most efficient cut out of your plasma cutter, how to do some types of programming if you have a Torchmate cutting table, we're going to teach you how to do a little bit of the CAD programming on that too. One thing I will say, make sure you bring your welding equipment, make sure you bring your welding jacket, gloves. Make sure you bring your utensils that you're going to be using for the welding booth. I will have some. I don't know if I will have enough to supply. If you need some, please, throughout the email or throughout the getting enrolled into the program, please leave that on the questionnaire that you might need stuff. I will be able to supply that to you if you need that. So, but Kyle Linko and myself and Jesse, I hope will be a part of it, is going to be the educators that are going to be help educate the educators. I'll also have some of my students there. I was going to ask Kyle Linko if he has some students that he would like to bring out. Maybe we could bring a couple of those out so they can also be a part of the class itself too. Because I want educators to not only see my teaching practices and Kyle's and everybody else's, but I would like them to see students and product of our students and who they are and what they're all about. And it will be another way to look at education in a whole. So, Kyle.
Yeah. No, you're right, Ryan. And that, like, so the workshop and how I kind of, developed it a little bit with Ryan and that is kind of like a la carte style. You can pick and choose what you really want to learn. We do have, we're going to stay within the guide rails a little bit, but it's, if you want, as Ryan said, you want to learn stick welding, you want to get better with that. So it's going to cater to what your industry around you is focusing on. So, I mean, if you're doing a lot of MIG and flux core, well, why would you want to really learn a lot about TIG, to bring back if your students aren't going to utilize that much? We're going to show you that, and that's the thing. And as Ryan alluded to is, we were at a talk today about, and Jason, you mentioned something about skills and not getting the government involved with these competitions. Well, maybe something with the government will get involved, right, Ryan? With the gentleman we spoke to today with the Welding League. So it's pretty neat. Like, said Ryan hit me up at 5:30 in the morning today. Sends me a text, check this website out. And we were talking about this the day before. And we're talking with this gentleman. I'm not going to give too much away yet. About, setting up this welding league and that. And it's going to be, with government run welding competitions where the top students can get placement in government jobs in all throughout the country. So that's something that Skills drops the ball on is, you have all these skills winners in that, but where are they really going? If it's the educators ourselves are getting them jobs in that. But when I talked to this gentleman, I said, this is almost like the Common Core test you take for the nuclear welding industry. You have all these contractors out there. They look at the men and women that are taking these tests and they hire them up right then and there. So that's kind of how this welding league is, what we're trying to put together is going to kind of come down to. Is, all right, we're going to take the top 10 students or whatever, or the winners, and, they should be placed in jobs. They're making decent money. That's what I got out of the conversation today. And I think, Ryan, right, the same thing.
And that's the biggest thing. Like at Skills USA, they give them a resume every year,
right.
But the resume goes straight into the garbage. It doesn't go out to any other employers or anything like that. So it's a part of the competition, but it isn't utilized as a tool for if these contractors are really needing employees. Here's a great group of guys, and this is what this company wants to capitalize on is it's not even a company. It's just a bunch of organizations get together and say, hey, we need to do this because
it's kind of like us here, a bunch of guys like us right now. Just say, this is what we got to do. Like the four of you here, the three of you, hey, this is what we want to do. And
it was through the defense contractors that they were going through because the defense contractors can't have foreign entities working in their company building defense products. So they're like, what are we going to do? We can't even build our products because it's not allowed to have people from other countries building our product, and we don't have the skilled trades out there that is going to be able to do it. Like, for example, they're talking about the shipyards right now. They can't find enough employees to fulfill the needs, and they can't have foreign entities coming in to be able to do the job. So they're trying to get all of these.
We're trying to build America back up.
That's exactly what it is.
And that's why I like this. When I was speaking to this gentleman, that's the thing. Made in the USA. Our products are the men and women that we're going to educate. We're going to keep it here. We're going to keep the money here. We're going to bring back skilled trades. And that's the big thing. It's always college. And don't get me wrong. College. We need college educated men and women out there. But here's the thing. And, I say I'm a little crude to saying this, but if college was the ultimate answer, why is there trillions of dollars in college debt that's not being paid back?
Two-thirds of the college debt is from non-completers of college.
Right. I think only 25% that go into a 4-year degree program finish. That's not good. So when you got men and women that go to a 2-year or 1-year school and get a certificate or an associate's degree, and they're out there making 60, 70, 80 grand a year, 100, whatever, it's not a 4-year degree is not always the right answer. I do believe in post-secondary education. These young men and women, when they leave my program, they do need more education, whether it be on the job, a 2-year school, a 4-year school, or they do need that. They need professional development. I'm a big proponent of that. I'm a big proponent of higher education, But to get back to, what these workshops are going to offer, it's our first one we're going to run. Is it going to be perfect? Absolutely not. But it's going to be perfect for somebody or everybody. And that's the whole thing that's good about it, is because you know what? Just like, as I said, this podcast we were kind of all over the place, but we were still in the lanes. That's kind of how these workshops are going to be. You're going to come in and it's going to be like a whirlwind, and you're going to leave on that Friday and be like, oh my God, what did I learn? What didn't I learn? Is this really going to happen? And then they're going to have all summer to work on this. And, Ryan and I and Jesse and Jay will all be available to them. And that's the good thing about it is, they'll make a lot of great contacts. And then, if we do bring the students in, if I can, sneak 1 or 2 up or ask 1 or 2 to come up, and that's what they're going to see. Because I said, I always go back to, that was my biggest takeaway besides meeting Ryan, was meeting the students. I learned more from them than anybody at Lincoln Electric that had the PhDs or the masters or all that, because I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for the connection. And that's what we want to give these welding instructors or people in welding, whoever shows up. Any educator can really show up. But it's really geared towards welding right now, is how you build that connection. You all have it. The 3 here, the 4 of us here, we all have it with our students. We got to get that. We got to get that to everybody.
Right now, Jay, we've got people from Florida, West Virginia, Rhode Island, Oregon, Ohio. We have Philadelphia, the millwrights in Philadelphia, the Carpenters Union out here in Cleveland, Ohio. So we've got a pretty diverse group of people right now so far in the program. I also have one from Colorado, too.
And that's the great thing is that, we're all from different walks of life, just like the 4 of us here. We all bring something different, and we all learn something different from each other tonight. And I know I did. And I'm going to take back what I learned tonight, and I'm going to implement it into my classroom, some of the stuff that we talked about. My students didn't even know I was doing this tonight. I keep a lot of things on the down low, and then, we talk about it at a later date. They will know when you send this out. I'll put it on my social media accounts and that, and they can listen to it, because they need to listen to it, and they need to hear from not just Mr. Linko or Mr. Eubank or Jesse or you, Jason. They need to when they hear from others. So it was so funny is when Ryan came in, he was saying the same stuff that I've been saying for 2 or 3 years. So when he left, they're like, Mr. Linko, are you guys twins? I go, yeah. Like, you don't know that by now? And
Danny DeVito and Arnold.
Right. And it was funny is because one of my former students came in. He was working out in Jersey. And here's the impact that when he met Ryan, he was working out in Jersey making like $100 some an hour. Took a half day to come in on a Saturday to hang out with us. And that was Big Joe. Right, Ryan? So that's the impact that we want to show other educators and other people. You can have that if you want it. And it comes back to, as Jesse said, and we all said, it's the work ethic. Put it in. They all want what we have, but they don't want to put the time and effort in. And that's what it's coming down to. And we want to show you how to get that, how to have that, how to get that passion, and then hopefully when you come out to the program, as I said, come out with an open mind. It will be crazy. We're all going to be who we are. We don't sugarcoat nothing. We have an unorthodox style of doing things. I know I do, Ryan does, but that's what works. It works within our environment. And, we're going to show you if you want to learn how to write some curriculum, all right, well, that's what we're there for. Why say Ryan's out in the lab teaching them, here, I'll show you what I'm doing here, or vice versa, that's what works. That's the big thing that, you're going to have all these other people there that we hang out with or that are in our network. So you should know that they're going to be worth their weight in gold. So you should be picking their brain as well.
I'll ask this to anybody listening, to this podcast is define normal. What is normal? What is traditional? Why does it have to be some standard, from the education wise to how something's taught? Why not something different? Why not the way the Misfits wanted to learn something, And that's what I'm saying is don't think just the textbook, like Ryan said, well, it's not in a textbook. You know, a gentleman said that to him years ago. Why does it have to be in a textbook? Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's, look at what they did in the 1900s versus what's now common day, knowledge. Was it wrong then? But it might have been taught in the book. So, take that gander to this workshop and see that it's different. It's off the cuff, and it's only here to promote. It's not here to destroy. We're not, making people drink Kool-Aid in a cult or anything. We're just, come here and try this. See if you like it. If you hate it, go away. Then, somebody will gather something from this workshop.
Oh, it's beautiful what you said. It really is. And that's the thing is, it's off the cuff. It's going to be, you're not going to find what we're going to teach in the textbook. And everybody that runs across when Ryan and I are together, and that's what Big Joe said. He's like, this is stuff that you're never ever going to see written down anywhere.
It's what you learn on a job site, though. Right. You'd learn this on a job site and talking to guys like us, And
that's it. And we're here to expedite that process. But you're so right. It's just going to be different. Here's the agenda, but the agenda is going to change. And
it's like all of you guys. If you teach to a lesson plan every day, you screwed up as an educator. Because if you ain't listened to those kids come into that classroom and one of them having an issue or a problem or something you can capitalize on as a teachable moment, and you just throw that lesson plan out the door, guys, that's what's called being an educator. You've got to be potpourri in the classroom. You can have things planned, but things change. And that's like this educator workshop. It is a structured educator workshop. But I'm going to tell you, it is going to be so potpourri when you walk in there and somebody comes in with a question, and then we have a 3.5-hour conversation later. I hate to say it, but it's all a teachable moment that educators need to understand that. And if you are in that education workshop and you just want to go out and weld, there's going to be no problem. Time to go out and weld. We'll put somebody with you, and we will teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to know how to get your guys certified and qualified, we're going to teach you all the different certifications and qualification tests that we can teach you on that week, so you could take that and integrate it into your welding class, so your students can then get their certifications through AWS. We're going to teach you how to properly weld, how to properly prep that. If you just want to come in and you just want to learn the basic fundamentals of TIG welding because it's something you'd like to add to your curriculum, a week long with us will do magic with you. Because I will tell you, that week long with us would be like sitting in a classroom for 4 months and not really have an educator that has a clue about how to teach the secret of the arc length, the TIG torch, the 90-degree rule, how to control your heat, how to control your travel speed, how to get good sight picture. These are all things that you're going to learn as a new educator or an old educator. I can say this as an older educator, just be open-minded when you come into the class. Learn from us because we are going to learn from you. I'm going to steal from every one of you educators that are going to come to my class to make me a better educator. And I hope you steal everything that I give to you, or you create a relationship with me. You take my phone number, my email, and you can call me, text me, or ask me anything you want. And when I got time, I will guarantee you I will make sure I give you the right amount of time and the right amount so you feel comfortable and confident when you're giving it back to your students.
Right.
So,
right, you're so right.
I can vouch for that. Every time I left one of Ryan's classes, I left more educated and more inspired to get back in there and just flip my program on its head and redo the whole thing. Just take what worked, keep that, and then add some stuff. Fill some things in. Here's some shit that didn't work. Here's some things that Ryan taught me while I was up there at the classes and stuff like that, and implement that into my program. And every time I've seen results. The program got better every single time I went and attended one of these workshops with Ryan.
And you're right, and they do. And if it's true to form to all the seminars and workshops I've been, the aha moments are always in the theory room. I've yet to see an aha moment out in the lab with any of these welding educators. And I foresee, and I really do, is spending a lot of time just in an open forum in the classroom, Ryan. I really do. And, they're the reasons why I go to the educator workshops is, not really you want to pick up a new tip or trick, how to weld this and that, but it's really to pick the brains and just hear everybody talk and hear what their struggles are. And we keep on saying that. And that's where the true form of this educator workshop is because if we spent the first 2, 3, 4 days just talking about our problems in the theory in the classroom and we never got out to weld and you left with something, that's all we want. That's all we want to happen. And that's all that's going to happen is you're going to learn something. You're going to learn a lot of things. And as we keep saying, open-mindedness, be open-mindedness because it's going to be different. It's going to be flipped up, as Jesse said. It's just picture Jesse going down on that toboggan in the stairwell and that's kind of what it's going to be like. And then what? He's going to be like, hey, this one's for you, for the people in Colorado. This one's for you, the one in PA. Florida man, this one's for you. That's really what these educator workshops are for. Then when you can come back and you can be like, hey, what'd you do over the summer? Be like, oh my God. Are you going to work over the summer? Be like, you know what? I'm going to flip my curriculum, as Jason just said, because that's what I did. I went back and I said, hey, I was teaching this way. Let me get rid of all the fluff, I'll say. Let me get right down to the meat and potatoes, and this is what we're going to roll with. And this is what we want you to do. We want you to leave there on that Friday or whenever you're going to leave and be inspired. So when the next school year starts for you, you're like, oh my God, I'm ready. I'm hungry. I'm ready to start because that's how we are. Like when I leave in June, I'm ready for the next school year. I'm ready to start. I'm thinking, what am I going to do next? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And that's what we want. And as I said, there is a structured format we're going to follow, but it's not going to be like, we're going to dot every I and cross every T that has to be done. It's come what you want, come open-minded, come with a lot of questions, but just know we're going to take two. We're not just going to give. And as Ryan said, you're going to get our information and reach out to us and come visit us, come to our lab, see what we're like. You're going to see that it's not lying. My lab is open to anybody and everybody. And it is. And I've had people from all over come in and check us out and see what we do from business and industry. There's nothing to hide. Just like Ryan said, I don't hide anything either. I'll show you what I got. This is what it is. In education, you shouldn't hide everything. And it got back to, I think it was you, Jason, talking about, we always go back to that old guy sitting on the bucket, welding like there's no tomorrow. He doesn't want to share any secrets because you think you're going to take his job. It's like, no, bro, I'm not here to take your job, but why don't you show me? Because one day you're not going to be doing this. Maybe I can be your disciple. Hey, you know what? Hey, I'm Jason's student. I'm Jesse's student. I'm Ryan's student. I learned from this. So you know what? Damn, you're going to be good. And that's what it is. So like people know, like when they leave my program and they leave your program, Jason and Ryan's, that, if they get the seal of approval, the companies around here know they're legit. That if we're speaking of them, hey, you want to take this kid, that's the reputation that, that all you have here. And that's what we're trying to get with these other welding instructors. And some have it already, but some just need to get that passion switch flipped or recharged a little bit. And that's really the ultimate goal for these educator workshops. And it's our first one, and together, so, expect a lot of fireworks craziness, a lot of bleeping, a lot of sentence enhancers, I'll say, right? Ryan loves his sentence enhancers, but you'll have fun. And that's the big thing is we're going to have fun. There'll be some tears. There'll be a lot of laughter. There'll be a lot of what the F's. I could foresee it now, but oh my God, does it work? And that's the thing,
Now, how can people get registered for the class? Where they got to go to register?
Jay, I'm going to give you a link. Could you put it up on the social media so I can give you that?
Yeah, I'll put it on the show notes as well as the Instagram post when the episode drops.
That would be awesome. They can contact me through Eubank, EUBANK at weldunited.com.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a nice website. We developed the Google form and you register in that. It's going to ask you a variety of questions, and there's another question at the end that you have to answer. You have to answer them all, but there's one in particular that you'll be like, why the hell are they asking me about this? And then you'll come to see when you come out to the educator workshop why. We all have a sense of humor. We all have fun. We all like to eat. So it is. This is something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. And I know Ryan has. Ryan's done a ton of these. This will be my first one to do with Ryan. It's as I said, you guys are building the platform, and here he is. Here all of us are, and that's the thing. We have the four of us, and whoever else comes out there, and that Ryan brings in is, I mean, if you don't learn something, that's on you. That's all I can really say.
Guys, I've been teaching this educator workshop. This will be my 15th year.
Yeah.
And done a lot, traveled all over the country, done internationally for 8 years. Taught educator workshops. I've taught someone from almost every country in Europe, Africa, South America, Central America, every state, United States, Asia. I've taught people from all over, all walks of life. And that's the greatest thing about it, is a lot of people have taught me some really great things. And that's all I want to do, is teach you what I've learned from people all over the world. And it's a great opportunity. Please sign up, call me, email me, let me know. And love to see you guys all on 14th through the 18th of June.
Well, awesome. I appreciate you guys' time. Thanks for hit just over 3 hours. So I know that's a lot on a Thursday night, but I really appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having me in that. Yeah, I mean, 3 hours is nothing. Actually, yeah, we started at, it's been a while, 3.5 hours. Yeah, I'm just going to sleep over at the school at this point,
There you go.
But no.
Yeah, I got to go down to Treasure Coast Technical College tomorrow. They're putting on a student welding showcase.
Oh.
And I'm once again, I'm on vacation right now, but I'm going to pop down there and see what they're doing, because they sent a couple of students up to my welding competition last Saturday. So I figure if they, make the 2-hour drive on a Saturday to come and participate in my welding competition, I'll make the 2-hour drive on a Friday to go see some of their students and stuff. So should be a action-packed day of welding and hanging out with some other cool welding students.
That's awesome.
See how they do it out on the coast.
And there you go. And that's what it's about right there. On your day off, you're going to go see somebody else, and another, and that's something that we're really trying to get with everybody, and that's what it's about, and it gets back to, is there any days off in education? And if you really want to be good at it, there really isn't. Yeah, we get our time off in that, but it's those little things that those kids are going to remember now. The students that you see, those kiddies in that, they're going to be like, oh my God, Jason came down, and checked this out. And it's all about giving back and reciprocating. And that's what I think these workshops are about, is giving back and getting some reciprocation.
Well, man, thank you guys so much for the night. I'm so excited for this. Jason, thank you for promoting this, and can't wait. I've got so many things I want to be able to give to the people and teach them some things. It's going to be really, really cool stuff.
Well, great. I appreciate it, guys.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Jason. Bye, everybody.
Kyle, it was good meeting you, man.
Yeah, same here, Jesse. I'll see you when I'm out in Ohio.
Absolutely. We'll catch you then, bud.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's episode of the Arc Junkies podcast. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks once again for downloading. I hope you enjoyed the episode. For more information on the Welding Educators Workshop that Ryan Eubank and Kyle Linko and Jesse Srpan are going to be putting on, I'm going to go ahead and put all the information down there in the details section. So depending on which app that you downloaded the podcast on, there's usually details down there. If not, you can always go to arcjunkies.libsyn.com, and I will put all the information down there in the details section, as far as sponsors, links to the episodes, Instagram pages you can follow of all the guests. So appreciate you tuning in. Stay safe out there, and until next time, make every weld better than your last.